Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Peter Sunday M, where we talk about tech and everything else. So today we have a very interesting topic that I believe a lot of people want: how to pass an interview, like a tech interview to be specific, because I'm in the field of tech, so I speak about it. So by the end of this video, you should have tips that will help you in passing your interview. Like, fortunately, hopefully, the tips will land you a new interview. Like, it will land you an interview and a permanent job. So, I'm a data scientist. So, I'll be speaking from that perspective and speaking from a perspective of a software dev. First and foremost, when you speak in an interview, suppose they give you get an interview, they ask you a common question that they ask you in the interview is that, tell us about yourself. How would you answer that question? So I'm going to tell you what someone told me how to answer that question. They said, okay, fine. They give you this question. This question is not about you to blab about everything and anything in your life. So, perfect way to answer the question, say, I'm going to break down the question into two sections. I'm going to break it down and talk about my schoolwork and my path school-wise, and I'm going to talk about the project and my work experience. Then go to say, in the school-wise, I studied computer science and applied mathematics. Then I progressed to do computer science and honors in computer science. I'm currently doing my master's, and my master's is based on deep learning with a topic that says 1, 2, 3. And then you move to schoolwork. The intention of just being clear with the schoolwork, they know what you did in school, but for you just to articulate yourself properly, just talk about the schoolwork fast. Don't indulge into that, because they need to know, but you need to focus on this more, the part that is next. Need to be fast about the schoolwork. Then you go to project-wise. Now you see how that was structured. They have, okay, school, now I'm in project. Project-wise and work experience. When I was doing my final year, since I did software engineering, my second year, so in the final year for us to graduate, we have to do an app. I did an app that was based on mental health. It was COVID-19 at that time, so I felt like students couldn't connect with the people that are responsible that couldn't connect to therapists that are at school, so I needed an app to make them connect. So that was the motive for that app. It was an Android app, and I was using Java connected to the Firebase database. Then I have other projects that I have on GitHub. I can share the link, but my profile name is pilasande.m. But in those projects there are also Android projects, Android-based projects that I have done, and using different databases. Some I was using SQL in it. When I was doing my honors, I was introduced to machine learning. So I did a project there there is an artificial chatbot in a sense. So I was using deep learning, more specifically neural networks, to do research on the space and make the chatbot that is going to communicate in South African languages. So, and I also worked as a bartender in between my honors and the degree. When I was doing my honors, I worked as a bartender. That was it's a different path from what we're used to in tech, but nevertheless, it gave me some good communication skills. Boom, you're done. This is long because I'm trying to explain this to you, and I was explaining things in between. But the intent of answering this question in that manner, one, you stated your schoolwork. You shouldn't blab too much. So you stated your schoolwork, you finished. You said, okay, I did computer science and applied mathematics. I did an Android app. I studied this, of which if you are applying for a software development project, what is this? A software development. This is for entry level people, just to make it clear, it's for entry level. If you are trying to tell them that you did what in school, it's best to be quick about it. I did software engineering. Then you go to projects. Now they know that you know object-oriented programming, you know documentation. If anyone did software engineering, they know you know the fundamentals. Now you go to projects. Projects, you structure them. Okay, in school, for me to pass, I had to do this work. So they know the app works. When we are talking about this, you talked about the language that you were using, programming language that you were using. You talked about the database that you were using. You talked about the type of app that it was. It was an Android app, meaning you can use Android Studio, and you can do the front end as well, because Android, an app needs to have the front end and the back end. So in that question, you have explained a lot of things, and I included that I was a bartender. If I wasn't a bartender, I would have stated that I participated in a society. But the intent of that is for me to highlight the fact that I have communication skills and I can work with people. So that's why that question, I structured it in that way. The follow-up question, of course, if maybe you're in a software development interview, they are going to ask you, depending on the type of interview, but they are going to ask you about project that you have done. Now, you already told them that you have a GitHub account. Now you have to tell them what's in your GitHub account. You don't blab too much, but you have to highlight the necessary skills. Like when you apply for a job, there's a spec, like the people what they want. So you have to highlight that we're doing, there's a project that I once done when I was doing freelance work. We had a client, but fortunately for me, I had to be the BA and the developer. So I had to communicate with the client. So for us to have a software, an STD, and so we made that with the client. It's also, I did that. Then I then proceeded to doing the code, and the code was done in Python. He wanted us to use Python to develop a weather prediction app. Make an example. Now you have shown that you understand how to look at documentation and deduct information from it. You have shown that you can do it yourself if need be in that company. And you have shown that you have the ability to work with different databases, meaning you have the ability to work with different APIs with the database. Chances are what follows next is that they give you a scenario. Like for me, I remember I was applying for this job for a data scientist. They gave me a scenario. I'll change the scenario. But they said, okay, as a data scientist, if we give you a problem of, I'm in fraud, so I want to change this, make it something different. We are having a product. We are in a store. Suppose I was applying for a store. You are in a store. We have different products, but some products sell more than others at different times. But the problem is, we don't know if, and during the time that's the problem is, when they sell more, there's a lot of fraud that happens during that space. As a data scientist, what are the features or parameters that you would say we need to look into for us to solve this problem? So now this is where you need to display the fact that you read the job specs and the skills that you have. You need to be very calm when you answer this. Some people want studio code, some people don't. But if they don't, good for you. You need to take people through your journey of looking at this. If you're a data scientist, if you're a software dev, they may ask you, if we give you a feature, you have a feature, we have an app that does weather predictions. Now you have, we want a new feature. You assign this project to when there is this feature. We are supposed to do some enhancements on this feature. What would you do? What would be the first step that you do? So now you have to explain and understand what you must do. Like if it's a brief project, you didn't do this project, you weren't part of it. Chances are you might need to read the documentation to understand what the project is about, and maybe do some debugging and understand what the project is about. Understand what links with what links with what. If you are afforded the opportunity to have like a teach back with a senior to understand what services or what do services in this project do, what different types of services and what they do, then that might be an approach. Before you start coding, they need to understand that you understand this, but in not so many words. As a data scientist, you need to also take them through the journey. Okay, there are different regions. They sell like this, but people tend to steal. What are they stealing? Okay, we know what they are stealing. So we need to look at the age group of the people that are stealing this thing. We need to look at the regions where these things are more stolen. Things of that nature. You have to take them through the process. So what you are if you are listening to me very well, what you should have taken out of whatever I was saying is, one, you need to be direct when you speak, and informative. In a short space of time, you need to tell people a lot of information, but don't make it like you are blabbing. When you tell us about yourself, tell us about your education. If you did some certificates, put it in there. So you need to tell us about yourself, tell us about the information, whatever you have done. And when you have to tell us about what you have done education-wise, we move to work experience. You tell us that what languages have you used, when have you used it, what were you doing. Condense it. We move to when they give you a scenario, like a project. Like, take them through the process that you would actually take them. Another important thing, if they give you a question then you don't understand, you ask them to elaborate. If you still don't understand, ask them to explain how they would have gone about doing that, and show them that you are taking notes, and tell them that, okay, we are going to look into this thing because it seems as if it's something that is valuable and it will be in your best interest to understand it. Then you write it down. In that, they show in the interview that you are interested and you are willing to learn. So if you ever been around people that have a lot of information to give, or people that have been in the industry for a long time, you know that they want to give other people information. If you are fortunate, like if you have good people, they want to give people the information, especially if you're around smart people. Smart people just want to talk sometimes. Even if they're introverts, just give them time, ask them a question and give them time. You'll see they'll show their smartness. So you need to jot it down. Make sure they see that you are jotting it down. Important skills to have in a tech interview. And if possible, if you are that type of person, throw in a joke here and there. If you see that, if you know yourself and you know you get to stutter as you're articulating yourself, or you just are not good at articulating yourself if you're under pressure, have a glass of water. They call it a crunch item. Have a glass of water as you are explaining. Take a sip so that your voice doesn't get high pitched, like now you can explain where this seems as if you don't know, now you're stuttering. Try to have a glass of water. So, and you need to get rid of what is this, crunch weights that you like, what is this, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not good to say words like that in an interview. It's like you're drumming it down to them. So that's important. It's important. Be direct. Use prep. If you have a method, if you know the method prep, use prep. Be direct. Be discreet. Have something to drink if you know you stutter, and throw in a joke here and there. If you are the type of person, if you can. If you can't, don't try new things. Don't try new things in an interview. And another tip that I can give you is do a dry run of an interview. Get someone, a friend, or someone you trust, do a dry run. Like, have a dead interview with them, and they should just get questions from online. Be serious about it. Another thing, do research on the company that you are applying for. Do research. So they would ask you a question like, why do you want to join this company? So you need to understand the company culture. You need to understand their slogan. What do they believe in? Like for Holland, it says, we don't take ourselves seriously, but we take our job seriously. It goes around those lines. I don't recall. ABSA, it's what is ABSA? It's finding new. No, they change it to something, but know the slogan. And by doing that, you would show them that you are interested and you actually like their company culture, and you actually fit in that culture. So it's very important for you to be, do your due diligence. Study the company. Study the people. Oh, another thing, go on LinkedIn. If they send you an invite, go on LinkedIn and check what the people that who are in your meeting talk about, what they've been saying on on LinkedIn, are they liking on LinkedIn. That could also help you understand the person and help you calm down. So those are the tips that I'm giving you. If you are still here, thank you for staying this long. You must like my voice. That's a joke I say in a lot of my videos, like especially today. Okay, guys, please hit the like and subscribe button for more content. If you have another tip that you want to share, please leave it in the comment section. It could possibly help someone, a young professional out there looking for a job, but they are failing interviews. So yeah, guys, let's be a united nation. Peter Sander M signing out.